Picture this. Young Thug, the so-called Slime King, the man the streets crown untouchable, sitting in an interrogation room like it's just another hangout spot. Hours go by while he smokes, eats, and casually gives cops everything they want. That's the leaked footage shaking up the entire YSL case right now. Everyone was quick to throw snitch at Gunna, but this tape flips the script, hinting the real rap might be the boss himself. And now Gunna is using this bombshell to stain Thug's name, even dragging him into whispers of an Atlanta murder cover-up. See, this isn't your typical back and forth with detectives. This was over 2 straight hours of Thug posted up in custody, calmly talking like he had zero reason to worry. What makes it wilder is this whole saga didn't even kick off with a YSL Rico mess. Cops originally scooped him up over some terroristic threats at a mall. But instead of pushing charges, they dangled a deal. Just talk to us. And shockingly, Thug didn't lawyer up, didn't clam up, he actually agreed to sit down. No written statement, but he kept on talking. That move alone raised major red flags. And here's where things get crazy. Thug didn't just talk, he acted comfortable. Like,
that's mayonnaise. Mustard, that's on me, I'm sorry.
Way too comfortable for someone under interrogation. Sure, the cops were working their buddy-buddy routine, but Thug leaned into it. He ordered food, chain-smoked cigarettes, even complained about the wrong condiments like he was in a diner and not a police station. The whole vibe felt less like questioning and more like he was chilling with old friends. That's why this tape is blowing people's minds. And if you know anything about how rappers move when the feds are lurking, you already know this wasn't normal. The usual play is silence. Clamp your mouth shut and wait for a lawyer. But Thug, he treated it like he was at some casual sit-down, like a business deal over lunch. Then out of nowhere, he started dropping names, and that's when the weight of it all hit. The wildest part? He brought up none other than Pee Wee Roscoe. Yeah, the same Roscoe tied to that notorious 2015 Lil Wayne tour bus shooting that shook the whole game. Thug casually painted him as Wayne's drug carrier, saying Roscoe lived like crime was a daily habit. That's not just small talk.
He gave Wayne 70 million, and he owed him 30 million. He gave Drake 20 million and even another 10 million. He thought he had an understanding that he paid out the 100 million.
That's throwing a man under the bus while the feds are recording every single word. But when the conversation turned to who actually pulled the trigger on that bus, Thug made sure to slide himself out of the picture. He told the cops flat out, "That wasn't me. I didn't give that order. That was Roscoe acting on his own." Now, depending on how you look at it, that's either Thug keeping it 100 or cleverly shifting blame to avoid being tied into a potential murder for a higher plot. Either way, it was calculated. And then came the Birdman bombshell. Thug didn't bite his tongue for a second when it came to Birdman's rocky history with Lil Wayne. He brought up their bitter fallout, the $30 million Wayne was allegedly owed, and even mocked why Wayne would be crying over money in the first place. That's insane, considering this was the exact period when people were calling Thug the new Lil Wayne, with Birdman grooming him as Wayne's replacement. Here's where things really take a twist. Cops weren't just digging into rap beef, they went straight at Thug's lyrics, pressing if his bars were just exaggerated or if they were based on real-life events. Thug played it slick, admitting some were cap but hinting others were the truth. That kind of half-answer is dangerous because it blurs the line between art and confession. And make no mistake, their main goal was clear. Figure out who pushed Pee Wee Roscoe to shoot at Wayne, who benefited when rap beef turned into bullets. Even as Thug tried to deflect, his words still placed Birdman, YSL, and himself right in the middle of the mess. When that interrogation audio leaked, the internet went nuclear. Fans instantly labeled Thug a snitch, but it wasn't that simple. Pee Wee Roscoe himself came out swinging in defense, saying, "Thug is clean as Listerine." In Roscoe's eyes, Thug wasn't snitching. He was just playing the interrogation game, trying to shield a friend who caught heat. Roscoe even reminded folks, "When me and Jeff were locked up, we went viral for being solid. I never told you a damn thing." Thug doubled down online, posting on X that his video wasn't even shown in court because all he did was help someone close, not betray them. Still, fans are torn down the middle. Some see it as straight hypocrisy, especially since Thug had beef with Gunna, who's been painted with the same snitch brush. That's the brutal reality. In the street code, even being honest in an interrogation can be twisted into betrayal. And with YSL's case already dripping in blood and controversy, every word hits harder. Some argue this whole tape is part of a bigger murder cover-up, one that keeps dragging Thug's name deeper into the fire. And here's where the story turns darker. The YSL saga isn't just about music. It's about violence woven into the label's DNA. Prosecutors say for over a decade, YSL wasn't just pushing songs. They were pushing bodies, drugs, armed robberies, and even witness intimidation. That infamous 2022 indictment rounded up 28 members tied to YSL, with Thug painted as co-founder and leader, stretching from Cleveland Avenue to every corner of Atlanta. Cops say YSL blurred the line between rap and gang activity, fueling a violent empire. The human cost is devastating. On May 18, 2024, tragedy struck hard. A case of mistaken identity left a young mother dead in front of her 2-year-old. Prosecutors say YSL member Jamal Baker and 2 others sprayed over 3 dozen bullets into a car they thought held rivals. Instead, inside was 21-year-old Naja Sapphire Cox and her baby boy, who sat helplessly as his mother bled out. The DA's office stressed she had no ties to gang life, just an innocent caught in the crossfire. Baker got slammed with life without parole plus 65 years, while his co-defendants still wait for trial. And believe it or not, all of this chaos could actually work in Gunna's favor. 4 years, his carried the Flip Under Pressure label while Thug was treated as the unshakable OG. But now, with a spotlight on YSL's brutal street activity, Gunna can spin his image, loyal, clean, and not tied to violent hits. If he plays it smart, he can flip the narrative, making Thug look reckless while he positioned himself as the one who never crossed that deadly line. In hip-hop, perception is everything, and this case might just give Gunna the redemption arc he's been waiting for. Through interviews, social posts, and even subtle songlines, Gunna has been reshaping his image, showing he weathered the storm without blood on his hands. The lesson? Being too close to the fire can burn you, but surviving it can also be spun as wisdom, not weakness. That's exactly how Gunna positions himself, while the narrative keeps Thug framed as the head of a violent empire. When Gunna stepped into court in late 2022, it wasn't just another hearing. It was a defining moment that would brand him for years. He took what's called an Alford plea, which basically means, I'm not saying I did it, but I know the evidence could convict me. A smart legal play, but for the streets, nuance doesn't stick. In that courtroom, Gunna confirmed YSL wasn't just a label. It was a gang tied to murders, drugs, and violence. That one yes blew up online and became his scarlet letter. The fallout was instant. Boosie called him out, social media dragged him, and memes branded him as hip-hop's newest snitch. Even though legally he hadn't testified or pointed fingers, perception ran wild. Suddenly, he was a poster boy for betrayal. And yet, the reality is simple. Gunna didn't cooperate with prosecutors. He didn't rat. His plea was strategic, shaving down jail time, skipping testimony, and letting him rebuild his career. And the strategy worked. While young Thug sat behind bars, losing weight, battling health issues, and rotting in harsh conditions, Gunna walked free. He slid back into the studio, dropped new music, and kept his momentum alive. That contrast alone split the culture, loyalty versus survival, street code versus legal savvy. The irony? Multiple YSL members took plea deals too, but none were roasted harder than Gunna. He became the lightning rod while others faded into the background. Fans, media, and even artists questioned his loyalty, but many missed the bigger picture. If anything, Gunna's move was a definition of survival in a system built to crush him. Meanwhile, the so-called real one stayed locked down, his career fading as headlines piled up. Some fans saw Gunna as a snake, others as smart enough to play the game. Either way, the debate shifted. One man surviving and thriving, the other drowning in legal battles. And in some circles, that flip actually made Gunna look more loyal to himself than anyone else. If Thug was a real one, then why was he the one spiraling while Gunna maneuvered the legal maze and walked out intact? That's the irony fans can't ignore. The leaked interrogation tape showing Thug relaxed, smoking, even name-dropping, only threw gasoline on the fire. Now you've got two narratives clashing head-on. Gunna slammed for a courtroom admission he made to survive, while Thug faced questions for footage that made him look a little too cozy with the cops. The double standard couldn't be clearer. One man was crucified for playing the system, the other critiqued for behavior that could be twisted. And Gunna's camp knew the stakes. Every interview, every social media post, every lyric carefully crafted to reinforce one point. He survived without betraying anyone. He played it smart, calculated, adaptable. And in the world of RICO cases, those qualities matter just as much as street cred. That's when Gunna supporters started firing shots back at Thug. If Thug is a symbol of loyalty, why did it take him longer to face the music? Why has he struggled more behind bars while Gunna walked free and rebuilt? And why did Gunna catch all the flack when others, including Thug himself, escaped the same level of public backlash? The questions hang heavy, with no simple answers. But that's exactly why the saga refuses to die. Fans debate it online. Rappers weave it into verses, and every new leak or post reignites a conversation. YSL's story is no longer just about indictments and courtrooms. It's living through the culture, the music, and the streets. And in the end, Gunna's infamous, yes, moment isn't just a clip, it's a symbol. A scarlet letter, a survival badge, and a test of how the world measures loyalty versus self-preservation. And it leaves the hip-hop community asking one brutal question. In this game of loyalty, betrayal, and survival, who really walks away on top?